Hey guys, welcome to Kayla Clark TV. I'm about to do a video today talking to you guys about my journey to loving my 4C hair and pretty much just taking down these old twists because they've been in for a little while. I did these in like 10 minutes right before my birthday just because I wanted something in my hair, so they weren't really made to kind of like stay up for a long time. I'm just going to take them out and show you guys how I detangle my hair. I'm going to be using Raw Shea Butter Extra Moisture Detangler. This is my absolute favorite. Like this, it's kind of like on the pricier side compared to like other average detanglers, but it really works. And I don't detangle my hair unless it's my wash day anyway, so I don't use it on the daily basis. So let's get started. I'm just gonna start off, I guess, telling you guys about how it all started, like from the beginning. When I was young, I didn't really feel like I hated my hair absolutely, but it really reflected in the things that I drew. Now, like when I look back on it, I used to draw a lot of pictures of like, you know, the average pictures of a house and a girl and a car and a family, you know, just the basic things that little girls draw. And at first I would just draw like, you know, I wouldn't do skin color or anything, but eventually I would draw little black girls. But with the little black girls, I wouldn't draw black features. I wouldn't draw brown eyes and black hair. I would just draw like straight hair, yellow, because I thought that everybody who I drew had to have blonde hair, and blue eyes. And at the moment, I never really thought it was a big deal, but now looking back on it, I'm realizing that I didn't truly want to draw those things because maybe I just thought they weren't like just the average thing, you know, because a lot of the stuff that I saw on TV was blonde hair, blue eyes, and I was just like, yeah, that's just how it's supposed to be. That's what I'm gonna draw, even if it's a little black girl. I still haven't really made sense of that in my head yet on why I would do that, because it would make sense for me just to draw like little white girls if I just saw it like that. However, I was drawing black girls with white features, and maybe that was just a projection of how I really felt, and that I wanted to be able to have straight hair, and that I thought that blonde hair was pretty, which I do think it can look pretty on other people, but on me, obviously, my natural hair is not blonde and straight. So when I would go to church, which church was like my life growing up, like I went to church sometimes on Wednesdays, Friday nights, Saturday. We went to church all the time, and majority of the friends that I made were at church. Like I had friends from school, but just because of like where I grew up, like my parents weren't very like trusting, like, oh, you could just spend the night over this person's house and I don't really know their parents, or you could just go here or go there. I went to a public school in downtown Detroit, and my parents were not with it, so most of the sleepovers I had were like family, friends, people from church. So all my friends were at church, my family was at church, everyone was at church. And most of the people that I saw at church and at school, really, they had their hair just like mine, and they were in bubbles. I don't know what you guys call it. A lot of different people call it different things. Put it in the comments below what you call, you know, those little ball accessories you put in your hair. Some people call them balls. I call them bubbles, but you know, the bubbles in our hair, sometimes the beads and the big chunky twists. And you know, it was cute. And we would use the pink lotion and the blue magic, all of that. So I didn't really see it as a problem because everyone around me, they were like that. But as I got older, I became a little more self-conscious about certain things because everyone started getting their hair flat ironed. So I was like, Mom, I want my hair flat ironed. So she would put that comb on the stove and, you know, flat iron my hair. And a lot of the times when she was washing my hair, doing my hair, it took hours, and I hated it because I'm tender-headed. And she would be like, beauty is pain. And it was kind of like a joke. My mom wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna burn you, beauty is pain, but she let me know, like, you know, women, they take time to take care of themselves, and beauty is pain sometimes. And my whole life I hated that. I hated that phrase, and I was just like, wow, beauty is pain, really? Like, so in order to be beautiful or feel beautiful, I have to spend all these hours and feel so exhausted and just uncomfortable to feel beautiful. But nevertheless, I did it because I wanted the results. You know, I wanted to be like everyone else. And I would love it because there was a lot of times some people, you know how people would tease and be like, oh, they would either tease you about your skin or your hair, like, oh, you're dark skin, and oh, you black, and then they would laugh and they'd be like, oh, you're bald headed. And in my head I was like, well, my hair shrinks up, I know I'm not bald headed. If only they knew, you know. So I would love to get my hair flat ironed, and people are like, oh, that's your real hair, and I'm like, yeah. But you know what's more of proving to people, like, hey, I'm not bald headed like you think I am, and you know, I'm pretty. So I used to be in this group. It's kind of like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts. It's called Pathfinders, and we used to go on a lot of camping trips, and I got into weaves because I was like, yeah, I want my hair to look a little longer and not have to manipulate it so much. But I wasn't, you know, privy to the whole full head weave. I would just get like you know, the partial weaves where you'd have like the leave out at the front. And at first I did not really know my hair color. Like in my head it was like my hair was straight up jet black to me, and I would get it and then the front of my hair would be out and my hair would be like brownish black, because my hair is obviously black but it has like brown tints to it. And so basically people used to clown me because, you know, you're camping and you're doing all types of things. You're hang gliding, you're doing archery, you're doing everything, you're walking up and down everywhere, and your hair is gonna like sweat out, you know. And I had a flat iron, but there was no way that flat iron was gonna hold me through the whole day, and we were not allowed to just go back to the cabin all the time. So especially if we stayed in tents. So I'll never forget when we were at camp one time, and the front of my hair was poofy and the back was straight, and it was brown in the front and black in the back, and somebody was like, your hair isn't even the same color in the front and in the back, and they just bust out laughing. And I was so embarrassed. I was pissed. And after that I was dedicated to finding my right hair color. But you know, it was little incidents like that that made me really frustrated. And I was like, at first I was like, should I dye my hair jet black? But I was like, no, let me just find my own color and keep trying, because I'm not always gonna be at camp, so my hair is not always gonna end up poofy or whatever. I can always bobby pin it or do something to it to make it look kind of straighter. So I ended up doing that. But yeah, eventually I got to the point in my life where I was like, yeah, I really truly do want to do something different, because I'm always flat ironing my hair, or when I'm not flat ironing it, I'm putting it into braids, like braids and twists. Like that was my go-to. My family, you know, they're Jamaican, so they just knew how to do hair. I feel like a lot of Jamaicans just know how to do hair, and so they would always hook me up with the cutest little braid styles, and I felt cute. But the problem was, I was tender-headed, and sometimes I would have to end up going to a braid shop. I'll never forget, my god sister used to go to this braid shop, and she got a discount there because her mom knew the people in there. Well, like, didn't know, but kind of knew. And so she referred me there, and don't get me wrong, these braids were it. Like, they were amazing. And I ended up going there all the time, but they were so tight I couldn't even sleep for a couple of nights after I got them. But I felt like it was worth it because I wanted the cutest braid styles, because my family, they can braid cute, but it was just something about when the Africans hooked my hair up. Like, the Africans really knew what they were doing, so I had to go to them. And so it was getting tedious. So around 7th grade, when I had moved to a different school, I was like, okay, mom, please relax my hair. Like, my sister has her hair relaxed, and all my friends at school have their hair relaxed, and I'm like, I'm in middle school, I'm in 7th grade, I want to be like everyone else. Because I was very self-conscious in 7th grade. Like, I used to sometimes get teased already. Like, people would call me Bob. They had made the nickname Bob for me because I was Jamaican. And you know, like at first it was like whatever, like Bob's not even an insult. But you know when people say something and then they laugh, it's like, okay, so you think it's funny. So I ended up just wanting to fit in somewhere. And you know, I had my friends or whatever. It's not like I was being teased or bullied by everyone, but I already was like, I'm not with it being called Bob. People were like saying like, oh, you're Jamaican, that means you're from Africa, you're African. They would laugh, and I'm like, if I was African, would that even be a problem, you know? And then again, do you know geography? Like, what's wrong with you? And then on top of it, everyone from Jamaica, not everyone, but majority of them are from Africa. Like, so I wanted to be like them, because I was like, I'm tired of being teased. I'm tired of being looked at as different. Like, even though, you know, my family's different, they're Jamaican, like I'm just like y'all, you know? I just wanted to be a part of everybody. And you know, the hard thing for me was, like, amongst Jamaicans is kind of a thing where they're like, okay, like, yeah, you're Jamaican, but not really, because you were born in America, you know what I mean? And then you don't fit in with anybody else because you're Jamaican. And they laugh at you. They might laugh at what you eat, what you like, the music you like. And it was just a constant struggle. I was like, I want to fit in somewhere, anywhere. And I had got my hair relaxed and I was super excited. And I felt like I was all that. And I was like, yeah, this is my real hair. And it was cute. It was long. Well, not long, but you know, it was long in the moment for me, long enough for me. And I felt like I was on top of the world. Like, if I can find the picture, I'm going to insert my 8th grade graduation picture right here when I had my curls done. And I love to get my hair done. I would go to that hairdresser and get my hair pressed out for $60. I was so ready for it. But after, when I went to high school, it was kind of different, because I was at a new school, and I was at a school that was like, how do I explain it? Like, when I went to high school, it was a school that was, it was privately owned. It was Seventh-day Adventist, and it was like a all black school. Like, everyone there was black, and most of the people who graduated from there went to HBCUs. And it was the thing where I had never went to a school that, well, let me not say, I've been to a private Seventh-day Adventist school before, but that school, I had never been to a school where all of them were black. And I got to a place where I was a little more comfortable with just being myself. Like, even though, you know, obviously teasing did still happen. Like, people would talk about Jamaicans bad sometimes there. It was kind of, but this is not the video for that. But I just felt a little more comfortable with the people there. I eventually became really good friends with a lot of them, and I didn't feel as uncomfortable in my own skin. But when I went there, it was a time in my life I was super obsessed with Nicki Minaj. Like, when I say obsessed, like, couldn't tell me anything. I felt like she was the best thing in the world, and I had figured out what a full head weave was. And you know, I had the bangs. And when I first came there, I pretty much had the leave outs, and I would like leave the front of my relaxed hair out and have my own bangs, and then in the back just have the weave. But eventually I got aware of the full head, and I had the clip-ins. I would put the little pink clip-ins in the back of my hair sometimes. I had green clip-ins, blue clip-ins, and I just had the whole big straight across bang like Nicki Minaj. I just thought it was so cute, and that was my thing for a long time. Now eventually my hair started deteriorating. I was just not taking care of it. I didn't know how to take care of relaxed hair. No one really told me how to take care of relaxed hair. And my sister, she was learning more and more, and she was going on this website called hairlista.com. And Hairlista, that was it. Like, that was the website, you know? And people, they would share their stories. They would share how to take care of relaxed hair. And my sister actually stayed on that for a while, and her relaxed hair, like, got all the way down to her, like, almost the middle of her back. Like, it was amazing. But for me, like, I just was not, as my sister's older than me, I just was not as dedicated as her. I just wanted the quick look, the quick style, the quick fashion. Just wanted to look cute quick. And I was like, just give me a way that I can have the front of my hair straight and the back of my hair in weave, and I'll be good. And if it's a full head, it's a full head. But eventually, you know, in between hairstyles, you can't keep the same hairstyle in forever. So when I would take it out, if I couldn't immediately get my hair done, because I would get my hair done at the weave shop, and you know, the weave shop, they were a little expensive. And, you know, I'm not spending my own money, it's my parents' money. So my mom would take me regularly, but sometimes I just couldn't go all the time. I couldn't go the exact day after, and they were always booked. So I had to find an appointment, and then once I had the appointment, we would have to wait in that place forever. It was too much. Like, even if you had an appointment, buy the hair, pay extra if your hair was a, you know, certain texture, which mine was. And yeah, so in between hairstyles one time, I ended up wearing my natural hair. Well, it wasn't natural, but it was like my relaxed hair to school. And I decided, I said, you know what, I'm going to try a braid out, because I had seen it on hairlisa.com. I was like, I'm going to do a braid out, try and do something decent. So I braided my hair the night before, got up in the morning, took it out, went to school. Man, they laughed at me. They were like, what's wrong with your hair? And I was like, oh, yeah, what is wrong with my hair? And from that point on, I was super embarrassed of my hair. So I was embarrassed of my relaxed hair at that point. I was like, I don't even want relaxed hair anymore. It was falling out. You know, I had learned some things like, oh, you're only supposed to relax the new growth and not the rest of the hair. Still wasn't working out for me. And eventually, by I don't know when in my 10th grade year, most likely the end, because my first half of my 10th grade year, I was still at the school. In the second half, I'd moved to a school closer to my city, to a public school. And at some point, I said, I'm done with it. I don't know if it was during the second part of my 10th grade year, or like just the very end after, but I was done with it. And I told my mom, I'm going to cut my hair. My mom's like, no, don't cut your hair. And one day I just went to the bathroom and I just cut it. I didn't cut it all off, but I really cut it to a certain extent where it was like, all right, my hair is cut. And so I don't know, it was kind of a moment of freak out. I was over it. I was done. And there was just a lot going on in my life anyway at that moment, so I was over it. So the next year, I ended up moving to Florida. So my 11th grade year was in Florida, and I hated Florida so much. But Florida just kind of gave me the freedom to really do whatever I want, because I didn't know anybody there. I didn't care to know anybody, because I was like, I'm not staying in Florida. I might move back to Michigan for my senior year, or I might end up, you know, I'm gonna end up going to college anyway. So I didn't care. I didn't care about anybody. I didn't care about anything. I didn't have many friends there. I did have friends, but it wasn't too many friends. I was new to the church. Everybody there already knew each other. I just wasn't with it at all. And so I was like, all right, so I'm gonna just do what I want. Y'all gonna take these hairstyles. Majority of my school was white anyway. There was a lot of like Haitians and Puerto Ricans, and majority of them were my friends, but well, like acquaintance friends. But honestly, I was like, y'all don't know nothing about black hair anyway. I'm not trying to impress y'all. I don't care. I'm just gonna do me. And I wore a weave in my hair for like the first half of my school experience there, just because I had cut my hair rather short and I just was kind of embarrassed. I just wanted to grow out, which it did. I'm gonna try and insert a picture of how my hair ended up growing out pretty good while I was there. But it just, I don't know, it just wasn't, I I was done with the weave. It just wasn't for me because I just didn't care anymore. I was like, I can't even find a good place to do my hair down here. Like, and honestly, I didn't feel like finding one because I was new to the neighborhood. I didn't know anyone, anything, where I was. I was like, that place was like hell for me. Like, I hated it. So I ended up just wearing my natural hair out for the first time. And you know, I wore like a poof. I found out how to do a little poof in my hair. And the front part I would like have flat iron straight. And I flat ironed the heck out of that little piece of hair. Like, I'm talking about, it was like this in the front, just hanging down. I would flat iron it all the time. I'm talking about once a week to sometimes I would do it 2 days in a row. I would flat iron that piece until it was bone straight, and the rest would be up in a poof. And I just thought it was so cute because I wasn't really comfortable with my forehead. And I always wanted something hanging in my forehead because I just felt like my forehead was so big. Like, I thought it was ginormous because people always used to be like, you don't have a forehead, you got a 5 head. And I was like, oh, nope. Y'all not about to see this 5 head. Not today. I eventually had realized that I was having so much heat damage because when I would wet it, like, let's say I wanted to do a different style, it just would not, I'm talking about it was wavy. And I was like, this is not like the rest of my hair. The rest of my hair was looking like this, and the front was looking like a little wave. So I'd eventually cut it, but I didn't want to cut it all the way off and look dumb. So I like cut it to here. And then when that grew out, I cut it some more until I was just fully natural again. And that was the start. That was the very first start of my like non-heat damage. Well, let me not say non-heat damage because I blow dried it a lot, but just my in general like natural hair journey. So when I went to college, college was crazy. My first year of college was crazy because I realized I am broke, okay? I'm not going to, and I was the type of person, I did not always want to ask my parents for money. Of course, my parents still helped me with money, but I didn't want to ask them all the time. And who had money to be paying all the time for these elaborate hairstyles and everything? Now, a lot of people in the dorms knew how to do hair. I just was too scared to go to them because I went to a hairdresser before I went to college in my senior year of high school. And when I went there, my hair, well, I was back in Michigan. This was after Florida. My hair was not that heat damaged. And the lady, she was like, yeah, I'm going to blow dry your hair. And I said, can you put some heat protector on it? She said, no, well, my blow dryer actually protects the hair shaft, so I don't need to use it. And she used it, and my hair was so heat damaged. And I have realized, like, throughout the years that my hair is way more sensitive to heat than other people's hair. So, you know, not everyone's journey is the same. And this is a late disclaimer, but disclaimer, if you decide to, you flat iron your hair, you relax your hair, this is nothing against you, you know, or whatever. This is just my story and what I didn't like and didn't work for me at the time. However, I didn't trust anybody after that. My hair was so heat damaged, I was disgusted. So when I went to college, I ended up having to snip like my ends a little bit. But I was fine with it because I still had a little bit of length. And I wore poofs everywhere. I'm talking about the poof was my hairstyle for majority of my year. And you know, from time to time I do the occasional blow dry and braid out because my braid outs, I wanted them to still have length. But I didn't trust anybody in the dorms. I was like, nah, you might mess up my hair. And if you mess up my hair, I will cry. So I was finding all these new products. You know, a lot of people at my university, I went to HBCU, so everybody was like on this whole natural movement. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. And I was just talking to people about how they were growing their hair, what they were doing, what they were using, watching videos. But I didn't have enough time to dedicate to it, you know. And I thought in order to be natural, you had to spend like majority of your of some of your days on it. I mean, some people still do, but I really was like, man, I'm gonna have to spend all this money on products. I'm gonna have to have these elaborate wash days and do this and do that. Oh man, I was so stressed. Like, and I was active too. Like, I would walk from building to building. I didn't have a car. We weren't allowed to have cars our freshman year. And I just kept it in a poof. But my problem was, a lot of the times when I would do hairstyles, I would blow dry my hair a lot. And, you know, it's nothing wrong with blow drying your hair, but when your hair is as heat sensitive as mine, it was taking a toll on it. And I was scared of shrinkage. And I didn't want shrinkage because I thought, and up until actually like maybe the beginning of the last year, I was scared of shrinkage. Like, I was terrified. I thought like, oh, people are gonna be like, ugh, she don't got no hair, she don't got any inches. But in reality, it's not a big deal, because a majority of the world really does know at the end of the day that majority of black people's hair, it, like, you know, it goes up, it goes down. Like, that's what it is. It's like coils. But I didn't want anyone to have anything to say about me. And so I was like, y'all gonna know that I have hair. Like, yeah, I have hair on my head. It exists. And so I was going crazy with that blow dryer. And I really learned along the years to not be afraid of shrinkage. And you know, it's not until my blow dryer broke and I didn't want to buy a new one that I actually just decided, forget it. Like, I'm not going to blow dry my hair. And that was like after dorm days. So that was like a couple years after I like started college. And my blow dryer broke. I said, nah, that's not it. I'm not doing it. I'm not buying a new one. I tried to find all these methods to stretch, but at the end of the day, I finally realized that I don't feel the need to stretch. I don't need to, you know. And that's when my hair started growing, because I was so afraid to put water in. I was like, I need to find products that when I put it in my hair, it's not going to shrink it up as much. But I still wanted to, you know, keep the curls, make it look uniform. But at the end of the day, why should I be worried about having my hair look as like everyone else expects it to? Because I feel like a lot of the time in the world, there's this expectation of a natural girl who has these curls. You know, you do this to your hair and then you have curls that are just so beautiful and loose, and my curls aren't loose. And I shouldn't feel like I should want my curls to be loose, because that's not me. That's not how I was born. People with loose curls is beautiful, but for me, like, my hair is beautiful too. So once I broke out of that, I started putting a lot more water in my hair. I put water in my hair in the day. I will put water in my hair in the middle of the day, at night, and I was just keeping it moisturized pretty much all day. And that was the point where my hair started flourishing. Not flourishing, because this year has been the first year I've decided to actually seriously take care of my hair. But it was a start where, you know, I wasn't having as many split ends. It wasn't looking as crazy as before. And I was really proud of myself. And I feel like a lot of the time being afraid of shrinkage has really held a lot of us back in our hair journey, because we feel like our hair has to look a certain way. But when you're 4C, you don't necessarily have too much representation. You know, as this YouTuber I follow named Star Puppy, she was saying, like, there's not a lot of 4C girls out here just showing us, like, yeah, this is my hair. And they don't get really popular on YouTube. So sometimes they might be out there, but then you just don't see them. All the stuff in the recommended for natural hair, or even sometimes people will label their hair as 4C, and I don't really think it will be 4C. Some people might not even think my hair is 4C, because some people don't have any curl pattern at all. But my hair has, I'd say, like a slight curl pattern, you know. But she says she has what she thinks is 4Z hair. But even for, like, you know, a person, you know, throwing all the hair types out, because hair types are confusing anyway. Like, even for a person who, you know, just has basic like 4C hair where they still have a curl, but it's just really, really tight, there's not a lot of representation for them. Like, if I search it up, it's gonna be difficult to find, like, you know, someone who's doing styles without a blow dryer or without extra hair. With, you know, nothing wrong with extra hair. I use extra hair in my hair. I just took out some fake braids, but I mean twists. But it just comes to a point where it's like, sometimes you want to wear your natural hair to like work or in a professional environment, and you're just thinking like, how can I do this without feeling like I'm looking crazy, you know? Or like, there's not a lot of people who just wear their 4C hair out like just how it is, without people saying like, what's wrong with your hair? It looks messy. You need to do something to it, you know? And I saw this post a while ago where people were saying some people don't need to be natural. Like, some of y'all need to stop trying to go natural, because natural is not for everybody, you know? And it's like, how can you tell a person that their natural hair that grows out of their head is not for them? Like, that really blew my mind. I was like, y'all are really crazy. That's just how I felt. I felt like everybody was crazy because I just did not understand. And it gets difficult because even from like family, and no offense, I love my family, sometimes it feels like they don't even understand, because it's just a thing where your hair always has to be, as they would say, kept, you know? And my hair, sometimes I'll wake up, I'll put it in a slight ponytail, or I'll, you know, give it a good zhuzh, and I'll be out the door to see my family, because I'm like, yes, my hair at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to work, I'm not going to a party, I'm not going to a banquet, it's my hair. And it's kind of confusing for me, honestly. But this has been the year where I really learned to appreciate my hair, to appreciate my curls, and just be okay with it. And that's a huge thing for me. So, okay, by the way, with this detangler that I'm using, I have to get my hair extremely saturated. If I don't, it's not really going to it's not really gonna get as detangled as I would like it to be. So I'm just gonna take my Denman brush and work it from the ends to the top. I should probably go in smaller sections, but yeah, I'm gonna go in smaller sections. And by the way, the reason why I'm detangling it today is because I have to detangle my hair before I wash it, because if I don't, then it's gonna look crazy. I'm gonna put a link up here to my here wherever it might be, to my wash day routine. But if I do not detangle it, oh no, I will not be able to get through wash day without my hair looking crazy or being extremely rough on my hair and causing more split ends. So I'm planning on maybe just detangling it, bringing up, washing it tomorrow. But I know that I definitely need to detangle it after it being in those twists for so long. You see how smooth this is though? Do you see that? This detangler is amazing. It's just if you don't use enough water, it's not gonna work as well. And sometimes I'll use this detangler before doing a hairstyle, but I used to be afraid to do that because I was like, I don't want a detangler that actually I have to use too much water for, and then I would say, this detangler sucks because it didn't work on my dry hair. But I quickly realized that detangling on dry hair is just not a thing for me. You know, a story that's crazy, I'm just gonna tell this story because I have time before I'm done detangling my hair. But when I was when I was younger, I remember this time there was this girl, we're cool now, she's a great person, but at the time I don't think she understood like what she was doing, really. But there was this girl, and I went to church one day. I think it was like a Friday night when they have like their rehearsals for choir and whatnot. And I was wearing a hat on my head, and I was wearing the hat on my head because I was really nervous about my hair, because like you heard through this whole story, sometimes I was nervous about my hair. I didn't want to be teased. So I think I was in transition between hairstyles. So I just put a hat on my head. Don't know why I was bold enough to even go out in that situation, like go to church, but I had to, because when my parents went somewhere, it's like, where am I gonna go, you know? Like, I'm not staying at home. If my parents go, I have to go. So I ended up going there, and I was wearing my hat around, and everyone was talking, everyone was having a good time, and out of nowhere I just felt a hand just whoosh pulling my head off, and I was like like my heart dropped to my stomach. And I felt like that was one of the most embarrassing moments in my life. Like, I could not believe it. I was so like, if I could have expressed what I was feeling in my head out, I would have probably screamed until everybody in the church ran, like, to me to figure out what was going on. But I ran straight into the bathroom. Like, I held my head, grabbed my hat, and went to the bathroom. And my mom came in, and my god sister's mom came in. They're like, Kayla, are you okay? You want her to apologize to you? In my head, I was like, no. I was young, so I didn't really understand, because in her head, she probably thought she was just playing, which, you know, I understand. To me, that was like the biggest thing ever. That was like the biggest moment in my life. And, you know, I played like, I was the type of kid who played too much. And let me not say biggest moment of my life. I'm really like extra sometimes. I say stuff like that. But I used to, you know, we used to play fight our friends, and we used to laugh with them, take their stuff, run away. It was a joke. We were really like those type of kids. So it really might not have been the biggest deal to her or to anyone really. Like, I'm the type of person who would probably do that to someone too. But when it happened, woo, I was mad. I was like, I did not want her to apologize. Like, I was mad, ready to fight. Like, I was ready to cry. I wanted to go home. I was thinking in my head, nobody's ever gonna forget this moment. People were gonna laugh at me, because I thought I was looking crazy. After that moment, not too many people said anything to me about it. But me and her, like, I didn't talk to her for a while after that. Even though we were relatively close. I wouldn't say close, like besties. Like, we went over each other's houses or anything like that. But we were close. So we grew up together. But yeah, that was a huge moment. And I remember when... this needs more water. I remember another time when I was... Like I said, I had joined a Pathfinder group at one of the, in the suburbs when I had moved, and I had this ponytail. I used to put my hair in a ponytail and put like a fake curly ponytail in the back. Like, I would flat iron it, put the flat iron ponytail back, and put a fake ponytail on top of that. Man, I thought I was it with that little curly ponytail. And, you know, one day, I forgot who did it. Someone just came and pulled my ponytail down. And I was so embarrassed. Like, oh my gosh, I did not wear a ponytail after that anymore. I think I did, like, when I was older. Like, you know, one of those fake hair poofs that are like, they're supposed to look like a natural hair poof, but they're not your real hair. I used to wear that, and I would pin it down, like, with my whole life. But like before, oh man, I did not wear another fake ponytail that was like straight, because I didn't want it to come off and people would be like, oh my gosh, you know, and laugh and go on. And you know what was crazy? It was so wild, because I was not even in an environment where, like, when I said before, like, I had a lot of black friends growing up in my home church. And I just didn't feel too bad, because it was like everyone's black. Everyone pretty much has their hair in the same way. And so they were like, you know, older, obviously. But like that situation, it got me mad, because I was like, now all these white people are staring at me. And they're probably thinking in their head like, oh my goodness, black people's hair is not real. It just came off her head. Because, you know, a lot of them, they would ask me, like, I would get braids. Like, my hair will be shorter one day, and then the next day I would have super long braids or something. They'd be like, oh my goodness, your hair grew, or your hair is so different, and they'd be really concerned, you know. But I knew that they just genuinely didn't know. But you know, it was just kind of weird, because I was like, yeah, I know y'all don't really know, like, I know y'all really don't know, but now y'all gonna make another conclusion, because you guys, I really don't know how black hair works, so and how we do like extensions and whatnot. And then now y'all looking at me like shocked, like it was a magic trick, like, oh my goodness, we caught her, it's not her hair, you know. And I was so embarrassed. It's like, now you're gonna think black people can't have cute like long hair, or like, you know. I was thinking in my head, like, if I wanted to, I could really curl up the ends of my hair like that and show y'all, like, you know, it's just for ease of actually having to do your own hair, or like protective hairstyles. Yeah, that was super embarrassing. I have so many embarrassing hair stories. It's like, all of these really led to me feeling like embarrassed, like feeling less than, like I had to hide it. Like I felt like I had to hide my hair, and I was just terrified for anyone to really see like the true nature of my hair. Like, I hope y'all don't see it. I hope it's not like, you know, I hope y'all don't realize that I actually got this type of hair. It's just insane. It's just kind of crazy, because it's like, now I really think of it, it's like, yeah, it's my hair, like it's not a big deal. Why would I be hiding it? But I really, now that I look back at it, I was really hiding it. And from a young age, I was probably really ashamed of it. And I thought, I was like, yeah, if I'm not blonde hair, straight hair, then what am I? I'm just a girl with nappy hair. And you know, people have claimed back the word nappy, because they're like, yeah, it's a word that people used to say that's like supposed to not be like a good word, but at the end of the day. But yeah, sorry, my camera cut off. But it was like, people like, it's a word that's used that's like not supposed to be a good word. However, I still don't like that word. And you know why? It's like this. You know, when I was growing up, people used to be like, oh, your hair is nappy, y'all hear this, y'all hear that. And it was just crazy. Like, they used to say so much. They would call you African booty scratcher. They would say you black as the night. They'll make jokes like, man, you so black that da 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 da. And then, you know what, you would see their parents come to school the next day, and their parents would be black, just like you. And you'd just be looking at them like, okay, but your parents are black. And that's how fights would start. But because for some reason that was an insult to them. But I never liked the word nappy, because it was used to make me feel less than when I was younger. So I know a lot of people like to claim it and be like, yeah, I'm empowering myself. I respect it, I really do. It's just, I can't do it, because I hate that word. I hate the word nappy. I'm never gonna say, I feel like I'm speaking like saying bad things about myself when I'm saying my hair is nappy. I honestly forgot this back there, and I don't know how, because I was touching my hair a lot. Yeah, I'm really happy that I got to a place where I could just feel like comfortable. Like, even at work, like I got to a place where I could wear my hair just out at work, and I just felt like I just felt comfortable. Like of course I've ran into, you know, the small things said, but I didn't feel any type of way. Like, I just got to the point where it was like, I feel like my university was so empowering though, you know. And that's the thing, I don't talk about it often, but my university really, like, it made me feel like I wasn't the only one. Like, people there were truly different. I never got any type of like terrible remark about my hair while I was there. Not once. And that's really rare for me, because where I grew up, like in Detroit, people would really talk, like people would really, but it's different because when I went there at first, it was a truly different experience because people were opening doors more often. Someone walked up to me and said, "Can I pray with you?" And I didn't even know them. I was so shocked. My university is different. It's different in general. It's a different place, but it was amazing that I didn't really get judged for, like, I was in my in-between stages too. I was just like doing things different with my hair that I hadn't done before. But people were just encouraging there, you know? Encouraging. I'm talking about my hair would not even be looking like nothing, and somebody would be like, "I like your hair." I'm like, "I love your hair," and I wouldn't even know them, like haven't seen them a day in my life. "I love your hair." I'm just gonna say my university's name just to put it out there, just in case anybody wants this same beautiful experience. Oakwood University, amazing. Okay, obviously every school has their pros and their cons, but that school made me feel comfortable being a black woman. Like, and you know the thing about it is, you don't just have like regular, like just African American, like black Americans there. You had people from everywhere. Because growing up, it was just like Jamaica. That's all I know. If it's not Jamaica, it's just like Black America. Because, you know, I was raised in Black America. So my culture at home was pretty much like Jamaican culture. My culture at school, or sometimes at church, not as much at church, but at school was really like, yeah, it was just Black America. So I didn't get anything else. But at my school, there's so many different like types of just like cultures from all different types of black people. It was a breath of fresh air. A breath of fresh air. It's beautiful. And I would never trade the experience that I had there for anything in the world. And I feel like that was a huge part of me accepting and loving my 4C here. It's not what brought me all the way there, but it's what helped me accept it a lot. People always ask, like, sometimes, like, why did you choose to go to a HBCU? You could have went to other places. You were accepted. Because I was accepted to a lot of other colleges, offered different scholarships. And, you know, Oakwood, they did give me a scholarship, but, like, it wasn't as much as I could have gotten at different places, you know, like a full ride or something. But I did get a scholarship, and then other scholarships that helped me out as well on top of that academic scholarship. But people be like, why you go to Oakwood? You could have went anywhere else. These top ranking schools, this and that. Man, I would not do it. I would not go back and trade Oakwood for the world. And that's just me. That's my personal experience. I feel like for graduate school, if I choose to go, because I've always been like, I'm going to go to graduate school, but now I'm just kind of on the fence about that. But if I go to graduate school, I could go somewhere else. Like, I could try and get into Ivy League, or, you know, just go to a school that's not an HBCU. But for my undergrad experience, figuring out who I was as a person, getting comfortable with my blackness, Oakwood was everything that I could have ever asked for. And I really thank them for that. You know, this side seems a little more rough than the other side, honestly. And you know, when I go in the shower and I soak my hair fully, it's much easier to detangle. Because the more water, the better. Like, if the water isn't dripping, like dripping from my hair, it's not gonna work out. I did appreciate the style. It just gave me time not to really do my hair. Like, and I was like, man, on my birthday, I don't want to think about a hairstyle. I don't. I was even gonna do it all cute, like, so that it could last for maybe like a month. And I was gonna do a YouTube video on it, but at the last minute, I was like, nah, like, the day before my birthday wasn't even the best day, and I really did not feel like doing that. So, you know, the best times that I have now are the times I get to spend with myself, just doing my hair. It feels good, and, you know, it's not painful, which makes me happy. Because like I said, when my mom or anyone else would be like, beauty is pain, Like, I don't feel pain. Like, I'm not stressed out. I'm doing my hair myself. I don't have to worry about someone not knowing my sensitivity, tugging on it, making me feel stressed. I'm still learning a lot. I'm still learning with like styles, and the most difficult thing though is like, I would be what you call like a lazy natural, okay? And let me tell you why. Because for me, I hate the whole everything has to be so exactly perfect type of thing, you know? Like, oh, my edges always have to be laid and this and that. And I'm thinking in my head, like, what happened before the whole edges laid concept, you know? Like, what about my ancestors who just didn't have to worry about laying them? Can I just put my hair in a ponytail without having to lay my edges? Or like, do I have to use edge controller? Like, who said I have to control my edges? Is that a rule? Like, I'm just like that, and I'm also very stubborn. So like, sometimes I'll do it and I'll be like, okay, this is cute, but then sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't see why I have to. And to this day, I'm still like that. It's just like, I don't get it sometimes. It's not important to me, especially if I'm not going anywhere. Like, if I'm going to work or I'm going somewhere else, it's like, okay, I'm going somewhere. But let's say I'm in the house, or like I'm going to see family, I'm going to the store. I don't want to lay my edges to go to the store. I guess I'm at that point also. There's no one I feel like, and I felt like this for a minute as well, even when I was trying to look cute sometimes and whatnot. But sometimes I feel like I have nobody to impress. Like, I don't really care. And I really admire the people who are into like style and fashion and all of that. I really respect y'all. Y'all really do it, you know? But for me, I'm not into it. Honestly, I rather like, okay, let's say somebody gave me a choice. Like, they said you can spend this $100 on clothes, fashion, hair stuff, or whatever. Just anything to make you look all cute and fancy. And or you could use that $100 for technology, or like it's like tech stuff. I would choose the tech stuff. Like, it wouldn't even be an option. Because that's just who I am. And not to say I don't care about myself or I don't care about taking care of myself, but it just gets to the point where I'm like, I can do it. I can look cute when I need to look cute. Like, in general, I don't really care. Yeah, I don't. As long as my husband thinks I'm beautiful, I'm honestly fine. And I really appreciate whoever my viewers are for watching. It's just, I really appreciate you guys for watching, because YouTube is a new thing for me, and I just now have recently gotten more comfortable just in front of a camera in general. And I feel like it just gives me a platform to express myself and talk about the things that I like. And when I started this channel, it was really like, okay, I want to do natural hair videos because I want to be able to have some visual like record of my progress. And then I was like, I'm in quarantine, I'm bored, let me start like a garden. So it's visual progress to that. And then I'm like, I want to do something with like technology because I love it and I want to teach people how to code. And it never occurred to me that I could just get on and just really talk. I never, like I was saying, I never really looked at it as, sorry, my camera cut off again. But I never really looked at it as something where I could just sit down and just talk and just really express how I felt about something. And I think that's something I'm gonna do a little bit more of. Not a lot, but a little bit more of. And I just, if you watch this all the way to the end, you're a real one. Thank you so much. Cause I know I had a lot to say, but you know what? I love you guys. Thanks so much. I'm gonna go off and go on about the rest of my day. And again, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching Kayla Clark TV. you.